How to use signs and flyers to pay off your rentals in less than a year with only signs and flyers. How's it going, guys? Awesome mayo rhymes with KO. This class, this is a picture of. Is that that's Mr. Gorgeous? Put him over. That's train. Oh, because of the train, guys. Why is this a train yard? You're gonna see some pretty cool stuff with the train yard. How do you pay off a house? How do you pay off your rental property? If you're a real estate investor, the single fastest way is to pay off your mortgage. I promise you, there's no faster way to pay off your mortgages than to do what we're gonna talk about today. Pay off your mortgages and own all your rental properties free and clear in less than a year just from using signs and flyers. This whole thing is about creating a passive income of $30,000 a month, 20 grand a month, 10 to 10, 20, 30 grand a month, 10 to 30 grand a month is our range of passive income in real estate. How you do that? You do that by buying rental properties and paying them off. I went over the math, I went over the numbers. It's actually not that difficult. This class, we're going to go over epic stuff. We talked about 140 of you guys, 140 different people who called in and people have emailed us, our subscribers. By the way, BigRia.com, awesome mayo rhymes with KO. This is the number one channel on YouTube for Indiana real estate. We're also building the world's largest organization of special needs business owners and real estate investors. If you don't know my story, go read it. My son had special needs. Actually, we've developed a therapy that involves business building, real estate investing, and just doing all kinds of badass stuff, buying businesses, growing companies. And that is now a therapy that Anna, my homie, Anna and I, that's how I met her. She also has, she's a special needs instructor and she has 2 kids with special needs. And now we're saving the fucking planet, basically. Just check it out. Go to BigRia.com. Now, this right now is about how do you get a 1 sentence summary. You're going to have your construction crews. Some of you guys asked this about, we talked about how to pay off your mortgages. You've asked for more on that. So here's exactly how to do it. How to get your construction crews to start putting in place models. If you don't know what a model is, go to our other stuff. You got to go to BigRia.com. So much great stuff there. Go to our stuff. BigRia.com. Do you have to move Mr. Gorgeous or am I going to? Go to BigRia.com. Take the, I'm not controlling this. Are you doing the other side? All right. So go to BigRia.com and we talk about models. A model is a checklist of, a business is a checklist, right? So a model is a checklist that creates 10 to 30 grand a month. So you want to put a model in place to pay off your mortgages on your property. So it's actually a lot easier than you think to pay off these properties quickly in less than a year and create that passive income of 10, 20, 30 grand a month. We're doing it for heroes around the world with Indiana real estate. Really cool stuff. So here's what you're going to have a crew, your construction crew or your real estate people. We've talked about how to build your team. We have a quiz you can use. Go your indie property management. You want to find good people that can go out and while you're fixing up these properties that you're buying and selling, or if you're not doing that yet, if you're not at that stage yet, then have your team, your marketing people or your real estate people. If you don't have those people, if it's just you, get out and do it yourself. Get your crew to run a model and apply the money to the mortgage. It's real simple. That's all we do. So if we're using 1% houses, so I'm not saying, can you really pay off one of your rentals in a year, less than a year? Remember, if we're buying 1% houses, that means it rents for 1%. That price range is going to be $50,000 to $150,000 generally, right? It's not going to be more than that. There are 2% houses. We don't go there usually because that's going to be around the $40,000 and below range. 3% houses are meth labs. Don't buy them. If you're in Indianapolis, these are places like Mars Hill. Don't go there. You got to need a SWAT team to collect rent every month. Don't do it. You need 1% houses. These are easy to get. That means it's a $100,000 property, rents for $1,000 a month. Go through our deal dissection series. People are like, oh, those deals aren't in the real world. Fuck off, man. How many? We've gone over there's like 200 different deal dissections we've done. Still, the number one question from people, by the way, in Indiana is it doesn't work in my area. Those deals there's deals everywhere if you know what you're doing. Build your 77s. We talk about all that stuff. I'm not going to get into that right now. What we're talking about is now that you've got these deals and you start picking up these properties, how do you pay them off quickly? If we're buying 1% houses, that means they're going to be 50 to 150 grand, right? That's going to be the price range. So the real question is, can you put out signs and flyers and make 50 to 150 grand in 1 year? The answer is, are you kidding me? By the way, we've made more money. We have more models and more ideas. People on our team have done more with signs than any group of people in the world. So we have a signs class. You should check it out. The real question is, can you run a model and make 50? Yeah, obviously. And now we're just going to use self-similarity. So do this with one property first. And then remember, go through our signs class, the Cantor set, understanding self-similarity. That's how any business, any successful business to have scalability, you have to run it on self-similarity, which means the same relationship at different magnifications, right? So get one of these going. It'll be easy to get the other ones. Guys, this is part of our 52 income passive tips. This is tip number 5. Tip number 1 was we have 52 passive income tips for real estate investors, 1 a week for a year, but it's taking forever to get these done. So it's not because we did the Indianapolis one for Indianapolis investors. There's like 19 there. I don't think those are done either. So we're getting this other one. I don't know what the hell is going on, honestly. But tip number 1 is how to take a business from 0 to 100 million. How many people are going to tell you how to do that? Go check that out. It's a class on Fireball. The drink Fireball. If you drink a Fireball, it's a result of one policy. Go check that class out for free, by the way. Tip number 2, the exciting $10 million letter. Go download that letter. It's brilliant. Tip number 3, how to make 30 grand a month for 3 years from one buyer. This is all brilliant. Tip number 4, real estate investors make 10 grand a month with Joan Fattah. You got to do the man. All these classes are amazing. They're beautiful and brilliant, just like me. Go check them out. BigRia.com, totally for free. 3 made models here. So how do we actually go out? We said the 10 fastest ways. There's more than 10. Here, guys, this is like our real estate agents, our property managers, especially our mortgage people, always ask us this question. They never want the full answer. They never listen. They don't really pay that close attention. But you're going to right now, right? If you want me to move, I can move that over there. You can handle that. I'll do it over here on this side. There's basically basically 3 main models we do as soon as we buy a property. Every single property, this is what we do. Then we're going to go over the additional optional ones. Here's what we do. Number one, anytime we have a property, anytime we're fixing it up or doing anything, the first thing we do is put out signs for buyers. When we run the lender agent model. If you don't know what that is, I have a whole class on that. You can check out the sign class, a few other classes about it as well. Basically, you generate buyer leads, you move them to a mortgage broker and then to a real estate agent. You get paid a percentage from each. Now, maybe you get your license, maybe you don't. You can own a business. You don't need a license. If you think you need your license, do it. Go get it. Doesn't matter. Own the business. There's different ways of getting paid. Fastest, easiest way to do it is to not get paid. Just do it as a GXM. Just volunteer for these people. And then you know, if I go get my license, I'm going to make 10 grand a month. Doesn't matter where you are in the country. If you get 10, 20 calls a week, you should be able to make 10, 15, 20, 30 grand a month pretty easily just from these buyer leads. If that's not happening, the quality of buyers that you have isn't so great and you want to go to a better area, which means you're going to move it outside the property. The first thing we do is take the property we have and we market immediately for buyers to generate the lender agent model, because that property, even if it only makes an extra 3 or 4 or 5 grand a month, when you throw 5 grand a month down on your mortgage, again, if it's a $50,000 house, you pay it off in less than a year. You get what I'm saying? So the lender agent model is a really easy way to pay your mortgage off. No human being on the fucking planet, people don't do this. Even people who learn about it don't do it. It's an easy way to do this. Second thing is lease option buyers, renters. This is a really good place to find people who have money for a down payment. They need credit. They can also do sweat equity in one of the properties. There's all kinds of plays you have. You can move them to investors, property managers, realtors. You can help them find a house and you can do an assignment real quick of a lease option. There's all kinds of plays, a bunch of stuff on this. We have at bigria.com, more on this information, but this is really easy to do. These are the top 3 things we do. And the third thing we do every single time is signs for sellers. Every single time we do all 3 of these, every property, no matter what. Now, we go to our construction crew. I'm going to talk about how we work with them later, but we go to the construction crew and hey, do you guys want to make some extra money part-time? First, we put a sign up in the yard of the property we have. Make sure that sign stays up. We get an idea of how much money we're going to make. And then they need to treat this like their own little business. They need to treat signs and flyers like their own little billboards. So we do signs and flyers for each of these things. Signs for buyers, then we do flyers for buyers. Signs for lease option buyers, then flyers for buyers. And then signs for sellers. And then I'm going to go over some examples of some of the signs and the flyers that we use. But the signs for sellers, same one we've used for a while. At the very top, guaranteed offer. I'll make a guaranteed cash offer on your home in the next 24 hours. And then a number, 24 hours. Put the number and then 24 hours meaning the number. We go over the dynamics of a sign in a second. So that's what we do. Now, if you have sellers calling you, what's a deal worth to you? It should be at least 5 or 10 grand, right? A deal, right? You make 5 or 10 grand. So we just did the math on this, the number of calls. I had her send this over to me. It was like 30 calls, I think, over 60 days. And they did 2 deals. Those 2 deals end up being like 15 grand. These are very low end deals. 15 grand. But think about that. 15 grand over 60 days. Anybody not want to pay that down on their mortgage? The property, I think, is a $100,000 property. You've paid off 15% of that property in 60 days just from seller leads, right? That means if we're putting out seller signs, we get 1 call every other day. Every 60 days, we should make 15 grand every 60 days. You get what I'm saying? How long is it going to take for us to pay that off? If we're at 20 grand, which I think we could very easily be, it's just going to take a matter just a little bit over a year and we should be able to pay that property off. You get what I'm saying? Guys, and $150,000 property we can pay off in maximum 2 years with numbers like that. Does that make sense? So if we get signs for sellers, all you have to do is like 1 or 2 deals every couple months and it makes sense to throw it out on that mortgage, right? And it's just an easy process to do. Nobody does it. And if they do, remember, don't use pretty signs. I'll show you what signs to use later. 10 other side hustles for models. So those are the top 30 things we do. All this other stuff we do, we sometimes do it, sometimes don't. It has different, like when people talk about Airbnb, I think everyone that talks about that is pretty much full of shit, man. Because Airbnb, we've had deals. We make 11, 12, 15 grand a month on a property that rents for like 1,500. It's like, oh my gosh, you know what happens? That money can fall and drop off a cliff. You got to create predictability. You have to have what we call transaction stabilizing and income immunity. And then we have prediction. We want to create predictable income that we know we're counting on. 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month. That requires math. That requires policies. That requires checklists. You got to take this stuff seriously. Most people are not willing to do the work that it's going to take to create that predictability. And I mean, most people, even people watching this, right? But if you do that, all these things that we do, we don't want to make, let's go out and make 100 grand. We want to make 5 grand a month, 10 grand a month, 15 grand a month. It's predictable and we can start applying that first to our main target property, pay that off, and then move that to our other property, right? This is the fastest way. You are not going to pay a property off if you're generating seller leads and you're converting them. Remember the things here, you have to first generate leads like nobody else is doing, convert leads like nobody else is doing, or build relationships like nobody else is doing. If you're not doing one of those 3 things, you're never going to make it. If you're doing 2 of them, you're doing great. If you do all 3 of them, you're going to be killing it. You're going to have no shortage of deals and you're going to be able to, make these things happen like it ain't no thing. So the 10 other side hustle models, all based on the same thing, all based with just signs and flyers. Number 1, the for rent credit. So we market for rent people and then we help them get their credit built if nothing else. And this is not a small thing because credit helping people with their credit profiles, that's a few $100s at least. If you're doing 1 or 2 of those a day and it's $150 to $300 to $500 depending on what services you're doing and how well you're able to help these people, it's an extra $200 or $300 a day. $200 or $300 a day being thrown down on that mortgage. It's great. So flyers for sellers. Then we're going to go over the flyer in a second for sellers. For rent signs, property management companies. Okay, so we just take for rent and then we move into a property management company. We help them move these properties. This is not necessarily a great moneymaker, but what happens is we tell the property manager, hey, anytime any of your people want to sell, instead of being a dickhead and an LC like they're going to be terrible with their people who want to sell. They'll go, well, the market's dead right now. They're not going to help them sell. Hey, listen, we'll make a cash offer on that property. We'll close this week and we'll retain you as a property manager. So we want to build that relationship with these people. Websites, pay-per-click, and CPA. This is a really easy one. Like if you go to like indiesingles.com or any of these, like, go to these like eHarmony sites, and if you drive traffic to their website, you get a website that's a redirect. Basically, you go to like one website, like bigria.com, but it takes you to like google.com or something like that, right? You put these on a website, and the passive income you can make on these, the residual income, I should say, it's not totally passive because it's not going to last, but it's pretty significant. And you might as well just throw them up for a test. We've done a lot of different tests. A lot of video game conventions do this. A lot of video game tournaments pay if people sign up with your link. So just put your website, go buy a domain, put your link as a redirect, and then every time someone goes, you make money. We've had heroes right now making a few $100s a month just putting out those for video game competitions that they're already doing anyway. So it's pretty cool stuff. Flyers for junk removal. This is another thing. There's a whole group of people, a segment of people, I'd say 10 to 20% of people who want to sell their home, but they think they have to clean it up. So they call junk removal people. This is another lead source. You can also work with junk removal companies. This is another one that nobody does. And tell them, listen, every time you go to see a client, also offer them that, before they, with all the junk there, they can pay you for it, or you can, your friend of yours can make a cash offer on their property. That's another great source of lead. Investor help wanted, Bird Dog. This was an ad I wrote years and years ago in a multi-million-dollar business. A good friend of mine is running an entire business on this one headline, this one idea. Overworked real estate investor needs help, or overworked millionaire real estate investor needs help, or overworked investor needs help. Overworked real estate investor needs help. I'll teach you the business. We'll split the money. This is a great flyer that we've used. I don't know if we're using this. Are you guys using this right now? So it's a great way to find Bird Dog people on your team. Go out, find me properties. And the way we work with Bird Dogs is there's 3 things you can do. Number 1, just get calls to a voicemail, which is what they're doing here. Number 2 is you want to have those calls. You can look over my shoulder, be on the line with me, and hear how the calls go. And then number 3 is you can take over the whole thing. I don't even need to make money. If you're generating the leads and now you know how to convert them, good for you. Good on you. Go for it and make it happen. Now you would think a lot of people do that third thing. Almost nobody does that. They just want to get calls to a voicemail. So this is what, by the way, this is exactly what your construction crew is doing. You're letting people know, hey, listen, there's all these different ways. If you want to get calls, all you have to do is get calls to a voicemail, and you can make, $500, $1,000 a week, extra. Make sure they understand the math, and make sure you understand the math so you know how you're going to pay them. And I'll explain how we do that, by the way. It's the 10 to 40% the breakdown. But they can go out and do this anytime they want, and they go and they set up their number. Are we going to talk about that? Local businesses lead generation promotion. This is another one. Working with local businesses is one of the easiest, fastest ways to generate relationships, to develop income immunity, because no investor does it. They're all dickheads about it. So with video game stores, for example, is another one we work with. Haircuts, anybody that wants to promote a business with signs, use that, and then you get access to their customers as well. JV, really simple stuff. Easy. Nobody does it, man. Neighborhood garage sales flyer. This is another one. This is one of our favorite. This is always one of my favorite things. So we just take out some of these flyers they use. They just put garage sale, neighborhood garage sale number, and people are calling it. But this is a way to get, there's about 10 to 20% of people that do garage sales want to sell their house, or they will in the next few months, maybe the next year. So it's a good source of lead. This is why you want to help coordinate these neighborhood garage sales. Also, we have pickers. If you're into that, like buying stuff, putting on eBay type of stuff, you have first access to all the houses that you can go through. And how do you know it's going to be a neighborhood garage sale? You just start saying, hey, there's going to be a neighborhood garage sale on the 15th, and then they call you to register, and then you get to talk to them, and you get leads for how many of those people want to sell their house. Flyers for short-term rental Airbnb. I'll put your house on Airbnb. We'll split the profits. That's another one. Signs and vacant yards. One of the fastest ways to find out the owner of a vacant property, instead of looking it up or doing whatever, just put a sign in the yard and see who calls you. And they probably know the seller, and they can get in touch with them, or it might be the seller or the owner themselves. Now, it said seller. Think about that suggestion, right? And you can find out who these people are, who these, get to their situation. Maybe they want to move it, maybe they don't. Or if you're getting enough calls, just say, hey, the yard's vacant. Here's what I'll do. I'll mow the yard in exchange. I'll take care of the yard in exchange. I'll just keep my sign up. We have relationships like that. She has, I don't know, like 7 some relationships like that right now that are producing anywhere from $8 to $9 grand a month, just from, about 7 signs. Our record right now is 1 sign producing 15 grand a month, I think, for 9 months, almost a year. 1 sign, 15 grand a month. Check out the class on that, by the way. Signs of vacant yards. Flyers to apologize for the noise. By the way, coupon construction. This is one of the first things we do. We always do this, but it doesn't always produce that much money. But it's a good way to get in touch with people and just get some relationships going. So guys, what is that? 14 ways? 14 ways. Signs for buyers, the lender agent model, lease option buyers, signs for sellers, for rent for credit, then you move with credit, flyers for sellers, for rent signs, property management companies, websites, CPA stuff, flyers for junk removal, investor help wanted, Bird Dog, local businesses, lead generation promotion, neighborhood garage sales, flyers for short-term rentals, signs and vacant yards, flyers that apologize for the noise. Anybody in that crew could take initiative and change their role. So first thing, here's the steps for anybody in the crew. Somebody on your crew, the first, just go. Anybody can do this. Doesn't have to be on your crew. We use people on our crews because a lot of those people want extra money. Go get a Google voicemail and an email, and then contact 77's radius. This is the first thing you you do? As soon as we have a property, we contact every agent, every investor, every home flipper, every landlord, every property management company within 1 or 2, 3 streets, right? 1 mile, 3 mile, 5 mile radius. We want to get in touch with all these people. And if nothing else, we let them know, hey, we have a bunch of leads we're going to have. And if you need help with any of that stuff, let us know. We'll give them leads for free. We want to build that relationship with them. Let them know what's going on and, show up like nobody else and you'll get deals like nobody else. The single fastest way, best way to build any business is to build your 77. If you don't know what that means, go to Big Ria and we talk about that a lot. Track calls and use signs, flyers, and online leads. So now our construction guy, first, make initial contact, get people on our compliance script for everyone in a 1 mile radius, 3 mile radius, 5 mile radius that might be someone selling their house. That's the first thing to do. Second thing, go now that you've got your Google voicemail, here's how you track the number of calls, right? And now start using signs, flyers, and online lead generation, which basically means just go to your Facebook page and start loving on people for a couple of weeks and then start posting stuff about how you're working for someone. Don't say, no, I buy houses, because they're going to be like, well, last week you were doing Forex and the week before that you're doing some MLM stuff, right? But now be like, I'm working with somebody that's going to help me get into this business. What the hell's going on? Did you not move, Mr. Gorgeous? Let's put him over here. Okay, so that's the flyer policies. Oh, so now we develop metrics. So the first thing you need to do is decide how long is it going to, what do they need to do to make whatever income they want? So we always say, do you want to make 5-10 grand a month, an extra $500,000 a week? What is it that you're trying to do? And then here are the numbers of where you need to be based on the calls you got for the first week or two. So we say, look, it's going to take a week or 2 or 3. Consistency. You have to do something every single day. You have to have daily consistency. And over the course of 1 or 2 weeks, you'll know. It's all free to get the Google voicemail, by the way, right? So someone on your crew or you should be out there every day and you should have an idea of how many calls you're getting and how well they're converting. The problem if you're just starting is you're not good at converting, right? Remember, like I said, you have to convert leads like nobody else is doing. If you're not doing that, that's a problem. You got to work on that. Then that way, because then you could generate leads like nobody else is doing. But if you convert them in a shitty way, that's not going to help. You need to do all 3 of those. Generate leads that nobody else is and convert leads like nobody else is. And then also build relationships, the 77s like nobody else is. What you want these people to do is have the metrics and then they can determine their involvement. Do you want to just get calls to a voicemail and get paid? That's okay. But the maximum you're going to make is 5 or 10%. And that may even be less than that, but it's going to be enough to make $500 to $1,000 a week. If you want to do more, you can make as much as 40% if you're dealing with everything. You're not only getting the call, but you're also helping to convert that call. And you might think, well, why the hell do I need you for the compliance curve material? And by the way, anytime somebody's like, why do I need you on your team? You know you're doing a shitty job of building your team. The single most important thing, you shouldn't listen to anybody, any wholesaler, anybody, unless they've got people on their fucking team that are making money, right? They should be able to say, what does everyone talk about, especially these wholesalers and these people like, oh, I'm building a $5 million, $10 million business. What do we do? We always focus and brag about how much money other people are making. Isn't that amazing? That's exactly what I said. And so what do I always talk about? We talk about 30 grand a month for our heroes, for other people, right? If you don't, it doesn't matter how much money you're making or how much by the way, you should always take that as BS. Anytime someone says how much money they're making, it doesn't really mean anything. It's it's just meaningless nonsense. Everyone's building up their own stuff. But when you have testimonial, when you have people on your team, when you have other people making money, well, now suddenly nobody's going to lie about that. If I say, oh, so-and-so's making 50 grand a month and they're not making 50 grand a month, why would they go along with that, right? So that's what you want to focus on. I say this because it is so vital that you build a business. When the less you've done for others, the more you have to talk about what you've done for yourself, right? That's why these people are always talking about how much money they're making, because there's nobody else on their team making any money. If you want to build a business where you have fun, you have people, friends that you go and you're not going to work, you're actually having fun. You look at work the same way kids look at playing video games, right? You need to be talked into doing work as much as a kid needs to be talked into playing video games, or people need to be talked into watching porn or getting on all these kinds of addictions. When you don't live your purpose, when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, all these other things fill in the gap, right? I say that because when people say 40%, they're like, oh my gosh, awesome. You're giving someone half of the money you're making. No. They're bringing you 10 times business the business you would be doing. And it's all money that you wouldn't get anyway. And I always ask people this question, would you say that you would rather pay 10% to the wrong person, or would you pay 50% to the right person to be able to work with them and have more fun and be able to build cool things and be able to do cool shit? Everybody always talks about when they look at our team and the relationship we have with our heroes and everyone else, like, you know what? I want that kind of culture. Well, then you should be thrilled. You should be happy that you could pay this amount of money. Guys, again, don't listen to anybody. Don't listen to any, again, do I ever talk about how much money I'm making? I never do. I brag constantly, but I'm always talking about how much money other people are making with my stuff, with my material, with my training, because it only means anything if somebody else can start from zero and reach these levels. It doesn't mean anything if I'm saying paying off your property, all these deals I'm talking about now, we're talking about paying off these properties. This is stuff that Anna and the crew and our special needs group is doing, our heroes are doing. We're doing this for our heroes around the world. These are active things. I'm talking about other people's properties, other people's deals. And the deal dissections are all other people's deals. And I say that because it's so important to understand that this idea of like serving and doing shit for other people is just like, it's like these, I'm getting a little bit, because we've had so many, the number one complaint we get right now, you know what our number one source of leads is? People who are sick and fucking tired of their indie team that they have, and they're looking up and they come, you cannot search anything Indiana real estate and not come across our stuff, right? And it's far and above anything anybody else is putting out there, any other material or educational process, right? And now now they come to us and they want us to take over and help them out. And the number one complaint that Anna and the team are getting right now from like the realtor board and stuff is that we're stealing clients, we're poaching clients. No, we're not. They're so fed up with you. They hate you because you're a bunch of LCs and dickheads that they're looking for help. Anyway, my point is don't be shy of paying people, and don't listen to anybody about paying people or building your team or having an acquisitions manager or this. It's all nonsense. How much money is that guy making? And can you prove it? Can you show people whenever you say that I'm making X amount of money or I made this deal, who else is making money on those deals? Chances are nobody else is making money. I have no problem paying someone 40% or even more, because if they're bringing that to the table and if we're able to, they're a solid part of the team, a solid addition to the team, it's always good. Nobody that you'll hear about, I don't know, a single person that has people on their team clearing 6 figures a month. And not only do we have people on our team doing 6 figures a month, they are teaching other people to pass 6 figures a month, right? So I'm just saying, I know when people hear this, they want to vomit like, oh my gosh, it's not that we're going to come into your business right now and take 40%. No, these people are going to go out and build a mountain, build an empire within your empire if you structure it correctly. Most people won't. Even after I said everything, I just like wasted all this. So it's still like, no, I don't want to pay 40. Okay, all right, man. Whatever. You're going to have dickheads around you. Flyer policies. How to do flyers? You must track everything. So here's how we do the flyers. So someone on your team does this, or you're doing this. Set a weekly target and a monthly radius. So you want to say, okay, I want to hit 2,000 houses within, sign out, was it 1 mile, 3 miles, 5 miles within this location. I want to hit 2,000 houses every single month or something like that, right? Then schedule days of the week that you're going to have in the target of flyers. You're going to say, I'm going to be out one day, Wednesday and Friday, 100 flyers a day. That's 300 flyers a week, or 1,200 flyers a month. So this is 100 flyers, 3 days a week. That's 1,200 flyers. And that's how we hit our houses a month. The way we work on our special needs heroes is if they're at school or if they're at a center, they have a map of how many houses we need to hit to get our houses for Airbnb or whatever we're doing. And they deliver flyers to make enough money for us to buy a house there that we can use as kind of our headquarters. That's how this house, by the way, is being bought. Sign policies, how to do signs like a badass. Go through our signs class number 1. So you want to have blocks of signs. Listen, guys, I should be charging you so fucking much money for this, man. The flyer thing, first of all, you need to have a daily or some schedule, maybe once, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, whatever. But send that out. That's how you do the flyers. Don't go out and try to do 1,000 a day because it's going to take forever. 100 you can do while you're on the phone. You can do like in place of exercise. After you eat, just go walk and hit these flyers and make sure we hit that same neighborhood, we're farming that same area, right? Sign policies. How to do signs like a badass. We need to treat signs like blocks. Usually it's going to be 5, 10, 15 signs to be one block. What's a block? It's a number of signs at locations that produce enough calls to make at least 10 grand a month. We use houses, businesses, and open land for calls. That's where you want to put your signs up. Talk to owners and start an experiment with the GXM or GXM. Just say, you know what? I'm trying to sell this house right now. Or go to a realtor. Say, you know what? You're trying to sell that house? I'll tell you what. I have a few places I can put up my signs. I'll see how it goes this weekend. And they're going to be like, I really appreciate that, right? It's like very nice of you to help them out. As soon as possible, switch the conversation to making payments. I know people that, again, are going to have a problem with this because they're LCs. I want to pay people. This is the top thing we want to do. We want to pay people because that's how you can control these locations. So as soon as you know how much money you can make, pay people. If you want to have evergreen leads from signs, here's how you do it. You have to have, let's say we want 10 signs for 2 weeks. So when we have one block of signs, we keep those signs out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe. It's kind of pushing it. Starting as a GX, I want to keep my sign in your yard for 3 weeks. But okay, 2, 3, 4 weeks. Let's say 2 weeks is the minimum, right? 2 weeks for our signs up. That means that if that's 2 weeks is one block, and then that means if we go 90 days, we need 6 blocks of signs, and then we repeat those every 90 days. If we need more, we get 12 blocks of signs, and we repeat those every 6 months. So you only go back to those same people every 6 months. Now you've got basically as many billboards, many locations you can use these signs at. Does that make sense? 7 places to find traffic dense areas. So now you understand how to put out these signs. How do we get these areas? Go to localconditions.com, traffic.com. Go to your state's Department of Transportation. Get the travel information. So it's transportation. Whatever your state is, .gov. Local news. Local news also does live webcams and stuff. Google Maps, Traffic Help. They do live updates as well. And they also have historical updates. You can see how much traffic there's been lately. Live traffic maps, weather.gov also has a lot of this, where the most congestion is in the areas and historically where the best places are for where the most traffic is. Federal Highway Administration Construction Road. Why the fuck would you, are you actually using that? Okay, there's a long website there. You can go there for traffic information. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's not that hard. Just ask people. We're a shitload of people every day, and then you've gotten out where your traffic is, and that's where you want to put these signs up. Again, start with the yards you have control over. If not, if you say, hey, there's a lot of traffic there, go test those yards, and if you don't know what to do, talk to a realtor, find a seller in the area, find someone in that area. You can just do, you know what, I'm just volunteering. It's a marketing experiment because you want to get a sign. Anytime you see any traffic, you want to get a sign in front of them, right? No matter what it takes. You're not going to make any money. Do it for free at first. Again, do you know how much money you're going to make? You get your calls, track your metrics, and you can go back and you can make a lot more. So this is an example of a buyer's sign. Is that right? Rent to own. You can move in Friday, 317-959. So we use these yellow poster board. Oh, you got, a dissection you've even got. Okay, so 7 parts of a brilliant sign. Number 1's handwritten. Always use handwritten. Neon yellow, the poster board. We need neon yellow poster board. We have the pre-headline at the top. We usually use an asterisk. It's a shift number 8, I think it is on the keyboard, but you can just do a star. Rent to own, for example, or must sell, or I need to buy in this neighborhood or whatever. Need to sell, question mark, a pre-headline. Then we put a headline in the box, put a box. You can move in Friday. You can move in today. Clearly written number, and then a post number like 24 hours or call now or a website or something like that. And then the store poster board is what we use. We always use a poster board, and that's the size you want to use. It looks different, it's odd, it sticks out, and you want to use that. If you have to use directionals, that's okay. If you have to use white, that's okay. Don't sacrifice on the handwriting. Use handwriting if you can. The last thing to go is the handwriting. Those signs can work too. These are the signs that pull the best. What is this? Oh, this is the flyer itself. This is the actual. Okay, so this is a flyer for sellers. I'll make a guaranteed cash out. By the way, we give you this to fucking download for free. Holy shit, man. You better like this video. Show those devil worshippers at Google that I did my job, man. This is for free. I'll make a guaranteed cash offer. Is this the exact flyer you're using right now? I'll make a guaranteed cash offer on your home today. Did we lose Mr. Gorgeous? Oh my gosh. So you didn't see the sign? Was the sign up? So was Mr. Gorgeous up for the sign? You guys just saw my pretty face. Oh, okay. So that's the breakdown. You can download this for free. Go to the website. So I'll make a guaranteed cash offer on your house in the next 24 hours. And your home next 24 hours. If you need to sell your home fast for top dollar, but you don't want to deal with all the hassle and cost, then you need to call me right now. And here's why. Who am I and how can I help? I can buy your house as is, no inspection. You don't need to fix or clear anything. I'm a local and I love this neighborhood. I'm not a realtor. I buy houses myself. I can close on any day that you like. My offer is free to you, no obligation. Confidential, private conversation. I can help you save your credit. I'll cover all closing costs. I pay in cold hard cash. I don't list houses. I buy houses. Any location, any condition, any price. You choose a closing date. No showings, open houses or repairs. No commissions, closing costs or fees. Call me directly. I actually answer my phone. Behind on payments or taxes, I can help. By the way, where did we come up with each of these things? We talk to sellers. We talk to people who call. We say, hey, why did you call this ad? Why did you call that ad? And then we do autopsies when we just call people in general. How did you decide who to pick? And they say, well, because that person actually answered their phone, or because that person, I don't want to do showings or open houses. All of these are keywords that people not only type in, but people say when we talk to them. Anytime you talk to your target, right? Always find out they're giving you the language they want of what pisses them off and what makes them happy. And it lets you write much better copy. Divorce, job loss, foreclosure, I can help. Behind on payments or taxes. Remember, the reason people lose their behind on payments is always going to be divorce or job loss. It's the top things. Or sickness, illness. Call me right, something really bad stuff. So don't go in like, oh, I want to swoop in and take their property. You really want to try and help these people and do what you can to make the best out of that situation. Call me right now. This is my direct line after you tell me a little bit more about your house. And I promise you that I will have a fair cash offer for you today, right? Easy peasy, right? Thank you so much for understanding. I have a gift for you as my way of saying thanks. I buy and sell houses and my crew is working at 123 Main Street. We really appreciate you being such a good sport about the noise. Oh, this is our apology letter about the noise and any other inconvenience. You're going to love the finished product and it will really add to the neighborhood. In the meantime, as a small gift from me, I've included a few coupons for a free car wash, VIP movie discounts, some grocery specials. We're just buying their love, right? Tell them I sent you and they'll take extra good care of you. Oh, by the way, you probably want to keep my number around because this may be the perfect time for you to upgrade your home for a refinance sale or just for your family. I can help with that and then come by anytime and see the quality of work we do. Oh, so we do this for construction leads, right? We now have a construction business, by the way. And this is one of the things we do for construction business. Also, if you or anybody you know needs to sell their home quickly, just let me know and I can make a guaranteed cash offer in your house. This is a fucking brilliant flyer, man. Okay, that's it for now. If there's anything I can do, please give me a call anytime. Thanks, Mike. Yes, I actually answer LOL, the phone, the number. All right. So, and where do we get the coupons? Well, the coupon model. We get in those coupons too. But even if you don't, say, you know what? I'm in real estate. When people are new to the area or when I mail my neighbors, I want to be able to have something cool I can send them. And they'll give you all kinds of coupons and free stuff. Overworked real estate investor needs help. You know what? I am one of the only real estate investor people that was a actual like professional, like really like when I say professional, I mean like not my attitude, but I mean like I actually got paid to write copy. And I say that because what we would do, I understand the power of a headline. One good headline can build a multi-million-dollar business, which means one good headline can destroy $1 million business, right? Or you don't even create one where you could have had one. This headline is an example. We have not been able to produce a headline better than this in like 15 years when I first came up with this headline. Overworked real estate investor needs help. What does it say? I'll teach you the business and we'll split your profits. Part-time, no experience needed. Call Jack. Number. This is a way to find bird dog people. It's also a way to sell programs that's the way, like a seller training program. Is there another one? Oh, it's the neighbor garage sale. So these are handwritten. This is another way. This looks simple, right? This was a masterpiece to come up with, man. I tried hundreds of headlines. We would run ads. We changed the headlines. I was one of the beta users for Google AdWords, the alpha user. I think it was alpha was the second, beta was the first, or maybe alpha was the first. I was one of the first like 500 to 1,000 people to ever use Google AdWords. And I'm only saying that because like that's a level of copy. Like I obsess over this stuff and you have to write great copy to convert, even, be able to be at the top of Yahoo. That's where they went to. They went to Yahoo to find the top advertisers on Yahoo. First was Overture, GoClick. I had the whole history of that. I went over in another class on copywriting. But the reason I got into copywriting was to be able to write letters and, to write stuff down and make money. But I say that because we've tested this headline. I have tested this. Many other people have. It's impossible to overstate the brilliance of this headline and the amount of money that has been made from this one headline. And that's how all of our stuff is. But sometimes we're testing it. We're trying to get better and better and better at it. We always test the headline, test the copy, test the audience. But it's a dialogue audience delivery. What you're saying, who you're saying it to, and how you're saying. But the headline is a simple, easiest way to double, triple, quadruple a business is change the headline. This headline, I invite you to try to beat it because because if you do, you're going to make millions. Neighborhood garage sale. I'm running ads and we'll include a list of items and addresses because that way we will get more buyers coming through. Let me know if you have stuff and want to sell and be on the list. Okay, so this is how we use our buyers list, or how we generate our list of garage sale. We talk about how to make money with these neighborhood garage sales. This is a way to generate leads from that. So this flyer goes out to everybody as soon as you put that up, or you just put it on a sign. Did you ever test that other one? Yeah, okay. This worked too. This was just neighborhood garage sale number. And I thought, like, why are the people calling? Like, you don't even explain. But this is converted as well. So again, all this comes down to how many calls do you get, how well do you convert those calls. And we just go through that process again and again. I'll put your house on Airbnb or a room on Airbnb. We'll split the profits. Call Anna. We've used that one before. Okay, so the whole point here, guys, your crew should do the following, the order of operations. Here's the order we do. Primary execution. Number 1, collect the radius of 77. All the 135 mile or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 streets. Either way, get in touch with all these people, these providers, build your 77. Number 2, signs up for sellers immediately. The first day we wanted the signs up for sellers and then flyers out for sellers. And then the signs up for buyers and or for tenants, buyer tenants, lease option tenants. Use controlled yards and then high traffic areas. First, we start with our yard. If that doesn't produce, or even if it does, we go further and further out to get to the highest traffic areas. We want to use homes, businesses, and vacant land, these high traffic areas. Control our calls, track our calls, see how much money we're making. Again, it doesn't take that much to make 50 to 150 grand in that first year, pay off that rental, right? Secondary execution. After this, repetition, accountability, discipline. Calibrate for 10 grand a month. What do we need to do to make 10 grand a month? Which one of these is the closest to making 10 grand a month, and throw all our money in on that? Maybe try one of the other 14 methods. Maybe we go to the Airbnb thing. Maybe we do some other bonkers thing. Maybe we do the garage sale thing. Let's try it after we have our numbers, right? Repeat as you make sure that your team develops income. The most important thing here, guys, is not that you're paying off your rentals and creating passive income, but it's that you're doing it in a way that produces for your team as well. Guys, that's a 52 income tips number 5. More than 10 fastest ways to pay all of your rentals off in less than a year with only signs and flyers. Go to bigria.com. It's beautiful and brilliant, just like me. I love you.